So let's talk about that ownership. And if we've got this life insurance policy, what's the difference between, let's say, you and I as partners, doing a life insurance policy on each other versus if we have 6 other partners? When would we have it be just you and I, each purchasing a policy on each other versus maybe an entity that purchased multiple policies?
Great question. So there's different types of buy-sell agreements. There are cross-purchase buy-sell agreements, and then there's stock redemption buy-sell agreements. And the stock redemption buy-sell agreement in your scenario is when you have maybe more than 3 business partners, okay? And the definition of a stock redemption agreement is really it's giving the entity itself the first right to buy the deceased shareholder's interest in that business, okay? So if the corporation would redeem those shares, those are simply retired as treasury stock, okay? Versus if we have a cross-purchase agreement and you and I are business partners, well, that cross-purchase agreement gives you as the individual the first right to buy those shares from my estate, not the entity. And the benefit of that is if you buy them personally, you get a step up in basis on what you paid for those shares. Versus if the corporation bought those, they're simply retired as treasury stock and you don't get a step up in basis on the shares that the corporation redeemed. So when we're looking at those buy-sell agreements, some of that verbiage can get very important.
Is there a difference between whether we just have a plain partnership or whether we have some sort of entity structure like an LLC or an S Corp?
Yeah, that can get into situations. So if you have a partnership or an LLC tax as a partnership, you're going to be watching about, truly who gets the step up in basis and what's the tax treatment on that redemption versus if it's a C or an S Corp. And that's where working with your CPA, your tax professional sitting at the table can really help identify what's going to be the long-term benefit of structuring versus a stock redemption versus a cross purchase.
So would you say the more partners or the more people we're worried about, the more we're going to work towards that stock redemption?
Yeah, usually that's the case. More than when you have multiple partners, when you're looking at that, you may be north of 4. Most of them, just for simplicity's sake, will go to that stock redemption agreement versus having a cross purchase agreement.